Now, we haven't forgotten about the plight of Indian students who have to cough up 1,750 pounds, that's 1,81,000 rupees, for a compulsory 10-day government-mandated quarantine in a hotel facility when they land in the United Kingdom where they're going to study. Why? Because India is on the UK's red list for entry. So even double vaccinated Indian students who clear RT-PCR tests before they go and after they arrive will get into what some call a jail stay. Imagine being a 19-year-old stuck in a room for 10 days even though you don't have any COVID at all. So we did a program on this a few days back, bringing to you the concerns of Indian students who say they will be out of pocket with this huge expense. And Adar Poonawalla was watching, and so he decided that he just had to step in to try and help these students. Now with Adar's personal donation of 10 crore rupees. And this is from him alone. This is not from the Serum Institute of India. There is a plan in place to ensure that the expenses of Indian students towards quarantine in the United Kingdom are covered. Now, to be sure, there are strict rules, and while we are the messengers to help this along, the real implementation for the collection will be done by LOCATOR. Utilization of the donations will be done by the NGO Sanmat. Now, we also encourage donations beyond Adar Poonawalla for this project. These are received by LOCATOR, these donations which you make, and they shall be disbursed by Sanmat, which will shortlist eligible students and provide necessary financial assistance to them. There are a couple of different rules. You'll find it all on the NDTV website. For example, some students may already be getting partial assistance from the universities. Will you be eligible to get the rest? There are students who are on student loans, who are on scholarships, who need the funding more perhaps than others. So there are rules that govern them as well. So you can read about all of this, how it works, at ndtv.com/ and unlock education. That's what it's all about. So before we move on, let's tell you how it actually works in the United Kingdom. Now, at the moment, entry into the UK for students and for others, in fact, is governed by red, amber and green lists for that country. If you are on the red list, you must, before you enter, take a COVID test, book a quarantine hotel package. This costs, as we mentioned, just under 2 lakhs and includes 2 COVID-19 tests. At the moment, the majority of people getting visas to the UK are students only, and exceptions are others getting it. So this affects students hard, and you need to complete a passenger locator form so that people know where you are. If you are in the amber list, and now there is hope that India may move to the amber list, we don't know when, then before you travel to England, you must take a COVID-19 test in the 3 days before you travel, book and pay for COVID-19 tests to be taken after arrival in England, complete a passenger locator form, and quarantine, albeit at home or in the place that you are staying, for a period of 10 days. You don't need to go into government managed hotel quarantine. You can quarantine, but you still need to do that for 10 days. There may be ways to lessen that period. You also need to take a COVID-19 test on or before day 2 of your arrival and on or after day 8. Now the rules for, and this is bizarre, truly bizarre, the rules for US and EU nationals are different. They don't need to quarantine or take the day 8 test if they are fully vaccinated. And this is what has really irked a lot of Indian nationals. Because if you've got, for example, a vaccine called Vaxzevria, which is essentially what we here in India and in many parts of the world call Covishield, and you have got it in the European Union, then despite being on an amber list, you can go to the United Kingdom and you won't need to quarantine at all as long as you've got 2 doses. But here are our children with 2 full doses of Covishield who will have to pay just under 2 lakh rupees and be in a virtual jail for 10 days and then have to take many more tests upon arrival in the United Kingdom before they can get out of quarantine. Same vaccine, different rules. Does that make any sense? Many would suggest that that's not the case. And finally, if you are in the green list, you must take a COVID-19 test before arriving, book and pay for a day 2 COVID test to be taken on arrival in England, complete that passenger locator form, but you don't need to quarantine unless the test result is positive. So that's what the dream scenario is. Unfortunately, India way down on that red list. There is a possibility of that changing. When, we don't know. Some suggest that it's going to be a while.